can't complain.
Hi guys, and welcome back to Thailand. I hope you enjoy your visit and I hope you get a lot of helpful information in this video. So today I'm going to talk to you guys a little about dating and 5 useful things to take with you into the dating field. So I know we all date for different reasons. Some of us want to be married. Some of us just want long-term relationships. Some of us want short-term relationships. Some of us just want casual dating. And some of us just, want a friends with benefits situation. No judgment here. But for this particular video, this is for my guys and gals who want a relationship that is going to be long-lasting, maybe even last into marriage. All these helpful tips and tricks are to get you into those long lasting relationships so you can be successful in them. You can learn about yourself, you can learn about your partner, and it can just flourish in very positive ways, I guess. So I want to just jump right into it. I don't want to take any time, extra time. So here we go. Before I jump into the tips and tricks though, I do want to say my relationship status just to give you a little bit of insight into me, who's talking to you, where I'm coming from. I am a single mom. I'm 25 years old and I am currently in the process of dating, finding my soulmate, all that stuff. For me at this point, it's something that I really do want. It's something that I try to prioritize. Sometimes I don't do as well as I hope I could. And by that, I mean I am on dating apps. I'm on Bumble and I'm on Hinge. Those are the 2 apps I use right now to see if I can find somebody to go on dates with and explore what a relationship would look like. But I've used all the apps at this point. I'm very much so invested in taking time to meet people, get to know people, and see what transpires. As of late, I would say I haven't really put as much effort into it. I don't know if I will find my person on the apps. I mean, I don't mind using them. There have been times where I've taken a break because I felt like this is just too much. It's too much to read. It's too much to try and get to know all these people. And I just feel exhausted. But I come back after those breaks a lot of times feeling like, okay, I took the time I needed. I'm ready to get back into it and let's go. It can be really difficult to meet people in today's day and age in the bars or wherever you go, not only because of COVID and all the restrictions that apply to people, but also just because everybody's on apps now, and I don't feel like there's the same expectation when you go out that you're going to get approached or you're going to do these things. And it's funny because I was listening to a podcast where he talked a little bit about that, and his thing was that people used to only be able to really meet when they went out. And so when you go out, everybody's just there, not just to find a person, but majority of people are like, okay, let's see what's out there. Now with all the dating apps and stuff, it's really changed the dating game and in positive and negative ways. So I'm not going to get too much into that because that's a whole nother video, but I do want to just say I am dating. I'm currently looking for my person and I'm in no rush. I'm trying to invest in that. I'm trying to invest in myself so I can show up as a better partner when I do find my person. But, these things take time. Sometimes they go really fast for some people and sometimes they just take time. But there's no rush. I'm enjoying the season of singleness and, whatever God has in store for me will be in store for me. So without further ado, let's get into the 5 tips and tricks to help you be successful in a relationship or a commitment. So without further ado, let's get into the 5 things that I think will help you in dating. Okay. So the first thing I have is learn the specifics of what you're looking for. So I believe that a lot of people think they know what they're looking for. And then when they actually get asked this question, or when it comes time to talk about this with a person they've been seeing or dating for a few weeks or a few days, whatever, they don't really know what to say. And a lot of us tend to go very general. We'll be like, oh, I want to have somebody that makes a lot of money, somebody who has their own apartment, somebody who da-da-da. And those are all great things, but those are not going to get you any closer to figuring out if this person is for you or not. Yes, those are all things that we would want to feel secure in a relationship, to know that this person can provide for me, if that's the type of relationship you're looking for, one where the other person provides, or you have a relationship where both of you contribute to the financial responsibilities you have. But I would push you to go deeper. You know, like, what are some of the things that you feel are going to be essential to you living the life you want to live? And does this person feel like that's a life they also want to live? Because those are the things that are going to make you really compatible and really bring you together. Not only will they bring you together because you share vision and you share dreams and you share life goals, but also because it's practical. And nobody wants a relationship that's not practical, because as much as you love somebody, as much as you care for somebody, you can't make a square peg fit in a round hole. And that's what you're trying to do when you try to go with the option, when you try to go with somebody that's not compatible or practical for your life. So you really have to make it work in a sensible way. Now, don't get me wrong. There are a lot of different situations out there where people who long distance dated, it's worked out for them. But a lot of times, those are the exceptions, they're not the rules. So I don't want to tell you never to try something different, or if you're in a difficult situation and maybe it doesn't seem practical at the moment, don't try it. But you have to really, really think about it. Like, is this something that we can get over or get through? Like, if you're in a long distance situation, is one of us going to move eventually? Are we going to move somewhere where we both can be together? Or are we both so stuck in like, I'm not leaving here and you're not leaving there? Because that makes you that makes you incompatible. That makes you, I won't say that makes you incompatible, but I'll say that's not practical. So definitely keep that in mind. I'm going to say one more time what that point was. Learn the specifics of what you're looking for. Okay. Point number 2, share what you bring to the table. Now, I know that this sounds like a little bit maybe obvious, I would say. Like, oh, of course I'm going to share like what I can contribute, but I don't feel like it's so obvious, especially with the dating apps and the online dating, not just the dating apps, but social media, DMs, all the ways that people use technology to meet people, to date them, and to pursue them. We often have this idea like, I'm just going to put out there what I'm looking for, and then whoever's looking for that too or can get behind that is just going to latch on. And for me, that comes across very like selfish and one-sided. That doesn't mean, excuse me, it doesn't mean that it is, but it just means that's how it comes across. If I'm on a Bumble or if I'm on a Hinge app and I see a person like, I'm looking for tall, has a career, works in a career, makes 6 figures, da da da, chances are you're not going to get, like, it just seems like you have this idea of who your person is, and either I have to completely fit in that, or I have to convince you that I'm good enough for you. And I don't think that's a good way to start off any type of relationship. So my alternative to doing that, or my addition, I'll say my addition, because I don't want you to not say what you're looking for, but I want you to also, in the same breath and in a very lighthearted way, say like, these are some things I can bring to the table. So I'll give you an example. I have a profile, and maybe my profile says like, I don't know specific, but like maybe my profile alludes to the fact that I'm looking for somebody who can provide me security. And my other thing that I'll add to that is I know I can provide that emotional security. LOL, thanks to my therapist, da da da. Maybe don't say it like that, but it's just an example of like, I'm saying what I want, but I'm also saying what I can give. And I think that that represents reciprocity. That represents the start of, maybe not the start. That represents good foundational values, I want to say. I'm not sure exactly how I'm going to phrase it, but what I'm trying to say is that it's very important to show early on that you can give as much as you can take, because if all you're saying is what you want to take and what you want to get, then it can become very hard for somebody to see you as somebody that's also giving. So definitely make sure you're doing that. And that point was share what you bring to the table. Okay, point number 3. Don't commit before a commitment. I feel like that's a word. I feel like I just delivered that like a pastor would deliver a sermon. Don't commit before the commitment. Now, this is for my ladies especially, because I feel like we tend to do this. And we do this in an emotional way. We do this in a way that lets the person know, like, I'm here for you. I want you to know that no matter what happens, I'm here for you, and you deserve all the good things, and I will be there to back you up, and I got your back no matter what. Meanwhile, you only known him for 10 days, sis. Sis, why are you there for a man you only known for 10 days? Is that man there for you? Why are you doing it? You think he's gonna like you more because you're there for him after 10 days? Or is he gonna look at you like, I got her wrapped around my finger? And I know some of you are gonna try and argue like, oh, well, a good man is never gonna say that. Okay, but how you show people, how you show up to people shows people how to treat you. So if you show up as somebody that's just, I'm gonna be there no matter what, then he's gonna treat you like that. He's gonna treat you like you're gonna be there no matter what, because that's what you're showing. So always show how you want to be treated. You teach people how to treat you. Remember that. So back to my point, don't commit before the commitment. Do not claim somebody when there's no defined relationship. And it's called DTR, define the relationship. Now, I'm not telling you to define the relationship before it's time to define the relationship. But what I am telling you is that you do not have any commitment when you have not had a conversation. So what does that look like? It looks like you meet somebody, you go on a few dates, you have a good time, you are really getting along. Okay, bring up a conversation like, okay, like I really am enjoying our time together. And I know that I told you that I was interested in a relationship. Like, where are you at as far as we go at this point? And see what they say. And if that's something that you also want, then okay, cool. Like if they're like, yeah, I really enjoy our time together. I think we should just, you know, keep going on a few more dates until we get to that relationship phase, and then we can maybe further discuss it. Don't let somebody be vague with you. Excuse me, guys. Don't let somebody be vague. And by that, I mean, push people. Push. Don't be afraid. So if somebody says, oh, I think we should go on a few more dates before we get in a relationship. Okay, well, you know, as much as I do like you, I am not interested in something that's going nowhere. So what to you would be like a few more dates? Like, and I know this might be controversial. I know a few people might say, oh my gosh, he's gonna look at you like, he's gonna be a little turned off, or he's gonna, and that's okay. It's okay if somebody you like doesn't like you. I don't feel like we hear that enough. It is 100% okay if you like somebody and they don't like you back. And it's okay for you to say how you feel. It's okay for you to have timelines. It's okay for you to have standards. It's okay for you to communicate those standards. It's okay if somebody can't receive that. It's not your fault. All you're responsible for is you and making sure you're good. And until the commitment comes, then that's when you're responsible too for your relationship and making that thrive. But at that point, you're not there. So focus on you and the things that you need and the things that will bring you joy. Because at the end of the day, the right person for you is not going to be scared off by that type of conversation. And I know it's a very hard thing to understand because we've dated a lot, and by we, I mean you and I, we've dated a lot of people who have not been the right person. And so the things that we said have maybe turned them off, or maybe rubbed them the wrong way, or they got scared of commitment or whatever. And that's okay. They just weren't our people. But don't worry. Your person is out there and they're not going to be turned off by you asking a question, especially if it's coming out of a place of I like you and this is where I want to go. So, you know, and who knows how that person might react, you know. You can't assume anything. So that was point number 3. Don't commit before the commitment. Number 4. Lucky number 4. Be excited, but give the situation time to develop naturally. So this is me from anywhere from maybe like August, literally, of 2021 and up, like, or back. Yeah, and back. Because I don't do that no more. When you really like somebody and you want it to work out because you've known them for a few days, the conversation's good, you start smiling at your phone because they're texting you good morning, and you just can't think of a life without this person. Meanwhile, it's been like 5 days, but girl, I'm there too. I'm that person too. You start to feel as if you have met the person that you're supposed to be with. Everything is all good, da da da. Don't get so caught up in that you forget that you don't know this person, or you do know this person, but you don't know this person in the ways that you're trying to get to know them, you know? So what are you doing at this point to protect yourself? Because for me, I would give everything. I would give my energy. I would give my time. If you call me and I really am into you, I'm picking up the phone. As soon as you text me, I'm texting back, and all these things. But what that does, at least for me, I can't speak for everybody, but what that does for me is emotionally puts me in a place where I feel like this person has me. And I think that's so dangerous when a person has not earned that from you. And yes, I said earned because a person earns that level of dedication, trust, consistency, time. And time is the hottest commodity because you can't get it back. Nobody can pay for time. Nobody has enough money to have multiple years on this planet. Like, no. So for somebody to earn your time, it must be earned. Keyword earned. Or somebody to deserve your time, it must be earned. So I would definitely say hold back some things, especially in the beginning. Don't give them everything. When you're really upset and you're sad, don't go to somebody that you've only known for 5 days to give you comfort, because we don't have that relationship yet, you know? For me, at this point in my life, if I'm having an off day, if I'm having a bad day, that person might text me. I said, oh, you know, like, good morning or something. I'm like, oh, good morning. And then maybe later they'll hit me up and I'll say, oh, you know, I can't really talk right now. I'm not having the greatest day. They say, oh, why? And just, I don't really want to get into it right now. That is me protecting myself from somebody who I do not know. Because if I let this person in and lower all my guards automatically before it's due, then now this person has a position in my life that I gave them that was not earned. And that's very dangerous. You have to protect yourself. You have to protect your heart. That is something that my friends have been telling me for a long time. That's something that the Bible tells you. Guard your heart above all else, for it is the wellspring of life. And that is just something I know to be true. But I always try to counteract that by saying, like, you know, being vulnerable. I love being vulnerable. I love feeling open. I have no secrets. I have nothing to hide. And it wasn't until recently that I learned, like, it's not about hiding anything. It's about protecting parts of yourself and allowing somebody to slowly get deeper and deeper and deeper. And I believe part of the reason we rush these connections is because we want to feel close to a person. And by making these emotional transactions and investing all this stuff, you feel like I'm getting closer. And it's like if you're running a long race, you know, you're running a long race and you start speeding right away, and you start speeding because you think you're going to get to the finish line faster. And then you realize at the end of the race, all the people who were pacing themselves, they have the stamina to keep going. But you, because you rushed, now you're slowing down. The stamina, things are not working. Like, your brain, you're starting to get like, exhausted, and it doesn't work. It's not a good tactic to do this race. And I think it's the same with dating. Like, you really have to pace yourself. You have to pace yourself. You have to allow yourself the time to get to know somebody. You cannot learn somebody in a few days. It takes months to learn somebody, maybe even years. And the crazy thing is, people are constantly evolving. So what you learned changes within 2 years, because I'm not who I was 2 years ago, and I don't expect my partner to be who they were 2 years ago. And it's all about the communication behind that and how you can learn to adjust in those moments when you're changing and your person's changing. But that all comes later. It starts with learning how to pace yourself and not give too much too soon. So that was my 4th point. Be excited, but give the situation time to develop naturally. Okay, and we're gonna go into my 5th and final point. It's very simple. Let it go, sis or bro. Whoever's watching this video who felt like this helped them, let it go. Let it go. Sometimes you have to know when to let things go. And for me, that can be very difficult, because there are times where you're like, well, what if I just say this? Well, what if I just say that? Will they continue to like be that way if I tell them this? Or like, maybe if I say this and I show them, then I can change the dynamic. And if I can, it takes 2 people. It takes 2 people to make a relationship work. 2 people who are willing to give 100% of their energies to making the relationship work. When you're in a relationship, that can change. You know, you've committed to be in something, and so there might be days where you have to give more and your partner doesn't have it to give, or the opposite. But when you're dating and when you're learning each other and when you're investing in each other, it needs to be equal. You need to both be in it, and you need to have the common goal. Like, are we in this for the same reasons? So nobody feels manipulated, so nobody feels used. And when you realize that that is not happening, or you're off or he's off, you know, take a moment and think about it. Really think about it and say, is this me holding on to this for dear life? Is it time to let it go? And if it is, let it go. And letting it go doesn't have to be a nasty ghosting or like a text or something, especially if you've already given your time to the person and you don't want to make them feel like crap or like they did something wrong. Because a lot of times when you let somebody go, it's not because they did anything wrong. It's because you just wanted to, or it wasn't working for you. And that is okay. It's okay for something to not work for you. It's okay. And I know that's hard because it hurts. It really does hurt. And, you know, maybe you can't see your life without them, or you pictured yourself marrying this person, or whatever you did. You have to learn to let it go. And it should not take somebody disrespecting you. It should not take somebody telling you 20 times with actions that they don't want you. It should take you coming to a realization pretty quickly, based on your own merit, not theirs, that this is not working for me and what I want, or this is just not the ideal for me anymore. And you should let it go. And I promise you, there's so much beauty in letting it go, because you allow space for something new to develop in that area, and you get the courage to do it next time. Because once you practice doing something hard one time, the next time it gets easier, then the next time it gets easier, then the next time it gets easier. And I would say that letting go is probably like the anthem of the dating world, because most of us are only going to be with one person, one partner. And if we hold on to the wrong person, we don't make that space for the right person to come to that area. And unfortunately, we might have to go through a few people to find that right person. We might think we found that person and we haven't. So we have to be able to let it go. We have to be able to move on. And so I would just, you know, challenge you to like look at your life, and it doesn't even have to be a relationship thing, and say like, what am I holding on to that I was supposed to let go of? What was I holding on to that didn't serve me? And what was I holding on to that has been making my life worse, or leaving me worse off than when I started? And it's a hard conversation. It takes a lot of intentionality. It takes that moment of sitting with yourself to learn, what do I want? What am I looking for? Who's gonna, you know, it takes a lot. It's a lot. And I would very strongly urge you to consider doing that, because I think you'll be better off for it. So that was my fifth and final point. Let go, sis or bro. All right, so all in all, I am done. I really hope that these helped you. I feel like I tried to use things that I am currently working on, or things that I've currently found helpful in my life. And if you would like me to do another one, let me know in the comments below. I'm always down to film a dating video, because that is all 20-something-year-olds right now. We're all in that, well, not all of us, but a lot of us are in that stage where we're like, I want to date, I want to get married, I want to meet my person. So if you're down for more advice, or if you want me to do like a story time on some of like my best/worst dates, I will definitely do that for you guys. Thank you so much for being a part of my family and for visiting Thailand. As always, much love, and I hope you guys have a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful week. And that's all. That's really all I can give you. But kisses, love you all. Take care. Bye.